not about being the cheapest in the government contracting field, because the government agency is not looking for buy one, get 50% off. They're not looking for a deal or a sale. They have an open checkbook. They have to spend the money. Presenting the best of value is more important than presenting the cheapest price. Focus on servicing the customer and not trying to beat competition. When you focus on the customer, then you focus on how can I provide them value? How can I provide them this service at a great price point that I'm happy with, that I'm okay with? It's just about putting your business in the right position so you can take advantage of all the opportunities that government contracting has to offer. And my thing is, once you find your niche, that's how you get rich. Because government contracting, you can get a contract for any type of thing. What is your niche? What is your competencies? What do you understand? What can you provide? What can you offer? And once you understand that, you just pretty much focus on the customer that supports it.
All right, Hamza Sabree, appreciate you joining here on the Construction Game Podcast. Super excited to have you. You're a fellow government contractor. Just tell me how you got into government contracting.
Yeah, so I got into government contracting, interesting, back in 2014. I was in a space of looking to acquire some more skills and get into the field of construction. So ironically, I just created a resume to match up with the job offer, submitted it in. I landed the interview, and when the interview, everything went good. I got hired. And during the hiring process, the owner came up to me and said that, we do 100% of our business with the government, so you're going to need to learn the Federal Acquisition Regulation, which is the FAR. So I had 2,038 pages stacked up on my desk that I had to learn all these FAR clauses and understand procurement and federal acquisition up under the government eyes and how they operate through compliance. And that really just led me down the rabbit hole of seeing all these different type of rules and regulations and how things were favored for small business and how to actually obtain government contracts. So I started procuring and winning government contracts in asbestos abatement, mold remediation, demolition for this company. Within 6 months of me working with the business, I procured over $1.6 million in contract value on state, city, county, and federal contracts for the firm for that department, which previously only did about $600,000 gross before I came. So from there, I was like, I understand a skill set you don't have to go to school for. And I figure how to create a business or a business service out of it uniquely for procuring contracts for small businesses. And then they paying me a percentage of the contract value. So I renegotiated my whole terms after I was able to put up those type of numbers. And the company that I was, working as a project manager for, they wound up becoming my client. And started procuring contracts more into expanding into the federal market and FEMA, and expanding across nationwide, and wound up growing that business up into 8 figures before our departure.
That's great. That's great. So when you were working with that company, did they start doing other things outside of the abatement and the demolition, or did they just stay?
So that was the department that I was working within. So there was a huge construction company, more of known for steel erection, fabrication, and things of that nature. And then they just had another department within for demolition, asbestos abatement, mold remediation, and I just tapped into that. And that led me to be able to offer other services like that to other businesses, because they actually recommend me to other companies, because it's like, well, this guy's performing this for us. He may be useful for you all. And I went down that rabbit hole of knowing the art of procuring a government contract. And it wasn't until 2016 when I actually landed my own government contract, which was a local contract here in Atlanta with the Clayton County Public School System, selling rat traps and tissue for 4 years.
Crazy. Yeah, so that's awesome. So like you said some really cool stuff there where it's like, and I'm a firm believer of that as well. It's like if you figure out how to get the contract, you're just in the driver's seat, and obviously you were hired on from this company, and then all of a sudden you're bringing in almost doubling the contract value that they had previously had gotten. Now all of a sudden you're in a position where you can kind of renegotiate terms, and that's a good spot to be in. Yeah, it's a real good spot to be in. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
wound up actually accepting my terms and then agreeing with me as an independent contractor. So it was a more of a partnership service with my company at that time was Core Structure, and with that construction company was Ames American Logistics International.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with government contracting, there it's a little bit different than submitting a proposal out into for a residential project or just a commercial project, right? A lot of
Right,
times there's like the technical aspect of things, right? In
right,
addition to the pricing. So were
right.
you like really good at the technical side, or were you also putting together like the dollar number pricing?
I was good at all the way around. So the numbers,
Okay.
the technical side, how to prepare the proposal, how to present it to the government agency. I got into the psychology of it from the standpoint. Actually, with boxing, they call it the sweet science. It's a science to boxing. It's an art. So within government contract, it's a sweet science to procuring a contract or curating a proposal. So I got into the mindset of what a contractor officer would look for. They don't know who you are. All they know is what you're submitting in. So your paperwork speaks volume about your firm, about your business. So it's about articulating the things that they are requesting of in the solicitation. So like I tell a lot of people all the time is that if you want to secure the government contract, pay attention to the evaluation of award criteria, because that's your customer, which is the agency telling you how they're going to evaluate the small businesses that's submitting in those proposals. And if you can meet and match those pain points and those criteria, it gives you a way more stronger competitive advantage.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so you continued to work with that company. Did you like how many contracts did you end up getting that company? Like what brought you out to working with other companies and where
Well,
you at with
I
with
saw it
all
as a
that?
unique business. So start off within construction with them, but I knew that the same process to procure a government contract for this construction or this demolition project would be same as for janitorial cleaning or for supplies or for any type of industry, because the procurement process is the same regardless of any industry. And just understanding industry market rates and stuff like that, and then understanding different strategies that I can implement to get a better advantage as knowing if I can secure the contract or not. And it's more strategic. Most people think government contracting is a numbers game, but it's really a strategic game. It's not about just how many bids you throw at the wall and seeing what's going to stick. It's about strategic going after the opportunities that going to stick or have a higher rate.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Dig into that, because I'm gonna be 100% honest with you.
Uh huh.
Like we've actually done a lot more by going after a lot more projects, right?
Right.
And honestly, I can't tell the team like what projects we're gonna get and which projects we're not gonna get.
Right.
And oftentimes the projects we think we're gonna get, we never end up getting them. And the projects we don't think we're gonna get, and we're like, oh, why are we going to the site visit? It's all the way in Maine. I'm
Yeah.
down here in DC. And not just lower Maine where it's like right next to like New Hampshire and Massachusetts. This is like Acadia, Maine. But we go after them, and next thing you know, we end up getting awarded those projects, and then the projects we thought we were gonna win, and we just like we're gonna be a shoe in here. We never win. They get canceled.
Yeah. It comes with
somebody else.
it
Yeah,
comes with the territory. That it may
yeah,
get canceled or stuff like that. But when you
yeah.
break it down from a numbers aspect, like for its data and stats, statistics, 96% of government contract awards go to companies that are actively marketing, not actively bidding. What you see on the sites, you're looking at less than 2% of the budget. Okay, so there's other ways of securing a contract without just the bidding process. 76% of government contract awards have 5 or less companies competing for the work. All right. So 36% of government contract awards only have one response. That means only one company submitted it in. So round it up to 40%. You're talking about 4 out of 10 government contracts only have one response. So I've secured government contracts not because I was the lowest price, it's because I was the only price.
Mm.
So when you
I've been there.
understand
I've been there.
those statistics, you can start creating a little bit more strategy to know what the competitive field looks like, how fast agencies are going to award a contract after bid. just to give a little hack out here for the viewers. One of my things is to understand whether it is anyone submitting in the proposals outside of me, or what competition may be, or if any. A day before the bid is due, I would email the contracting officer to ask them to push the date back to give me more time to submit in the bid. And normally, if they accept that, that means no one has submitted in, or very few, and they would like to get something into of more evaluation. But if they do not accept those terms to push it back, then that means they have enough qualified, small businesses or submissions to create an evaluation. But I still meet the deadline. But I use it as a tactic to gauge, you know, um, anticipation on maybe I may be in the, three companies, or one company, or no company at all if they push it back. That makes sense?
Yeah, 100%. I've been there before too. I was when you said that, I started laughing in my head because we did that for a fish and wildlife project. It was like a $5 million project that we actually ended up winning. And I asked her like 3 days before the bid was due, like, hey, we really want to bid this project. We need a little bit more time. Our key subcontractors, right? Like our mechanical guy, they're still waiting for their equipment. And she pushed it back. So I knew, I was like, okay, like we have a real chance here to take this one, because she doesn't already have a proposal, or she's making sure she gets interest for the project. So yeah, no, I totally relate to that 100%.
Yeah, normally with those construction contracts, there be a lot of bid bonds and performance bonds and stuff like that, payment bonds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Comes towards stipulations and stuff like that, or requirements on the state, city, county side. But depending on the level of the project, on the federal, they normally ask for 20% bid bonds when it comes to construction.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So like if you're bidding $1 million project, they want you to put a bid bond, and you go to your insurance company, they can help you get bonds. There's actually specific insurance companies that do that. Like some of them are just only focus on bonding, and they'll help you get a bid bond. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's huge. Another thing you said there too that was really interesting is that most of these projects aren't even solicited out into the marketplace. And it's initially like, so we get on a lot of these MAC contracts or MATOC contracts. So it's like they select 5 contractors, and the initial solicitation is publicly solicited, right? But once you're on this vehicle, it's a 5-year, 7-year, 10-year vehicle,
right?
And they're just throwing projects at you like every month, every 2 months, whatever. Right. And you're just throwing them at you. And then oftentimes those never get solicited. Like nobody else knows about them except for the 5 contractors on the MAC or the MATOC.
Right.
So is that what you were referring to when you're saying like most of these contracts are not even, publicly solicited?
Yeah. So, the budget, all right, let's say it's about $7 million gets spent every year. 23% of that has to be set aside for small businesses. Right. So that leaves about $800 billion budget that gets spent every year of small businesses. So we talk about less than 2% of that $800 billion is getting posted on SAM. So those other contracted vehicles, GSA, AA program, Hub Zone, sole source, simplified acquisition procedure, micro purchasing, like these are just naming some few what you call contracting vehicles, metaphorically speaking, how you're going to drive yourself to a government contract, what type of strategy you're going to use or program.
Yes, sir. So just walk me through like how do you help people, and how do you have an impact?
So what our firm does is that we help small businesses win big government contracts. For the procurement process, helping them build out their business development department within their company, to engage with government agencies on the federal, state, local level, from marketing to strategic marketing to procurement to project management and execution, all the way from A to Z of helping small qualified businesses secure government contracts. And also recently we just created our own software that actually able to find federal contract opportunities that matches up directly with companies' core competencies that gives them a competitive advantage of securing the government contract.
Yes, sir. So walk me through that. Like when you say marketing, like what does marketing look like in the government side? Because
That's a
you
good
know,
question.
for a while, I didn't even have a website, you know, because it's like, but I had done hundreds of millions of dollars in
Yeah.
government contracts, right?
Right. All right. So when we talk about marketing, when it comes to government contracting, it's not the same as marketing in the private sector. See, the private sector, you have, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, billboards, flyers, banners, business cards, and stuff like that, commercials to be visible because marketing is all about being seen. You have to be seen. So in the government contracting world, the public sector, the government agencies are not looking at your commercials or your Facebook ads or Instagram ads or your banner or billboard on the side of the highway to say, oh, let's purchase these services or products from Global Connects. That's not how it works. And when it comes to marketing, actually, it's actually way more or less expensive the marketing in the government contracting sector than it is in the private sector. So it's all about engaging your small businesses with these agencies because they want to know who you are. They can't purchase something without by bypassing the traditional bidding process if they don't know who you are. So one of the ways of marketing for me is doing email campaigns directly to purchasing departments, doing my research to find out what's the forecast looking like, how much money is going to be spent in this particular quarter on these particular net codes that's related to my industry, and then reach out directly to the agency so I can create a meeting with them to show them that we are competent, valuable, and we understand compliance and we know how to execute. And
Yes,
and
sir.
from there, that creates a lot of pipeline of opportunities that will come to you directly. As I always say, go strong in the first quarter of the government with marketing because that sets your business up to get a lot of no bid contracts in the fourth quarter because that's where you make your profit margins at because they got to use it or lose it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then first quarter is now, right?
It's
That's what's
now.
that?
Well,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, it's not.
if we get open up,
Yeah. Yes, yeah. That's a big thing, right? Like, and I was just telling the team, like, man, like we're so thankful that we don't just only focus on like USDA jobs or National Park Service or Fish and Wildlife. A lot of those agencies are ghost. It's a ghost
right,
town.
right,
Like we're still working on some of them, especially if we have already gotten access and we already know what we need to do. But
yeah,
like if it's about getting a submittal approved right now, it's like good luck. Like
good luck,
you
yeah,
know, yeah. You get your schedule of values approved. Good luck.
right,
Getting your schedule approved. Good luck.
right,
Like you're
because
not
most
doing
of
any of
most
that
of
stuff
those
for.
COs, the KOs are out of the office.
Yeah, furloughed, fully furloughed, and so like our Navy projects, like we're just trying to figure out how do we get more happening at our projects. Like so, maybe instead of like just us working in one area, we're trying to work in 4 different areas so we can
Right,
keep all of our crew growing and moving. Because I mean, that's the name of the game in business is execution. If you're not executing, we're not making money, and if we're not making money, like we're all in trouble. It's not like the government where they're just going to pay all these people for sitting at home for the last month, right?
right.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah,
work like
yeah,
that.
yeah. So is your specialty going after competitive acquisitions or more of like the direct award, like
Both.
the
It's like a
okay,
mixture of
okay,
everything. But our
okay.
main focus for the contracts that we get in house is facility maintenance, facility management. So
Mm,
we focus on that realm. And we have about 4 contracts right now that are 4 5-year contracts for facility maintenance for different agencies across this map. And we just pretty much handle all of the landscaping, window cleaning, janitorial cleaning, any type of HVAC work, carpet cleaning, and stuff like that.
so why do you like those type of contracts versus a construction contract? Because I love construction contracts.
Reason being is that it's less stipulations and requirements. I don't necessarily need a bid bond, performance bond.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
very low overhead and it's easily to manage and hire qualified companies to work or perform those services without getting all of the certain type of OSHA certifications or any type of a license and stuff like that. From the facility maintenance part is really just able to oversee and manage and connect all the dots. Something similar to construction, but it's just less requirements, less red tape, I would say. and more easier to acquire, especially with the if you have some good relationships and you perform very well, and they're pretty lucrative
Yeah.
when it comes
When
to
you
margin.
say got it, and then so you like do work for the month and you get paid, or you get paid the same amount every month? Like
Monthly, yep.
how does all that look? Okay.
monthly. So, say for example, one cleaning contract is paying about $800,000 a year for the next 5 years. We have a subcontractor that performs the work for about 675 to 685. That difference is what we keep for the per year. Based off of that, that's rounded out to monthly. A little bit between $13,000 to $15,000 a month that's coming in net. So if we can have five of those and averaging about that, you could be roughly generate six figures a month.
Yeah.
And I like those annual contracts or multi-year contracts because you can better project your revenue for your business.
Yeah. 100. That's real too, because like you're not sprinting from job to job to job to job, and hoping and wishing, and and honestly, that's why we love going after the Max and Maytalks as well, is because we know that like they're going to produce year after year after year. It's not like we got to go through that selection process every single year.
Right.
Yeah.
You have work. So, and normally if it ever gets renewed again, you normally have more first dibs on it before it may go back out as a public bid. Or if you perform well, you be more of a company that is presents the best value and advantageous to the agency. It's not always about price to win a government contract. You'll never see a solicitation say that the lowest price wins. They may say the lowest price technically accepted will win, and that means something totally different than just lowest price. Or sometimes you'll see evaluations as who presents the best of value. And best of value is not being the cheapest, because your price could be so low you scare the customer away. If I have a brand new Rolls Royce right now, I try to sell it to you for $20,000, you'll think I'm trying to scam you. You're like, that price doesn't even make sense. So it's not about being the cheapest in the government contracting field, because the government agency is not looking for who's going to give me buy one get 50% off. They're not looking for a deal or a sale. They have an open checkbook. They have to spend the money. So it's like presenting the best of value is more important than presenting the cheapest price.
Yeah, that lowest price technically acceptable had me crying when I first started back in 2012, man.
Because your lowest price, I'm sorry to cut you off, but your lowest price technically accepted can be actually the highest price.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was in a real bad spot in business. I was a subcontractor, and we had just gotten beat up so bad all across the board. And I was $500,000 in the hole. I was like 24 years old. And I bid this project in Eglin Air Force Base. It was like an $800,000 job. And they asked like 3 businesses to price this thing. I was the lowest price by $5,000. Like I didn't make a mistake. I wasn't low by 200,000. I was the lowest price by $5,000.
Wow.
And I needed that money so bad at the time. Like I was like, I would have done anything for that contract. And they didn't give me that contract because I was not the lowest price technically acceptable. They gave it to the next guy.
Wow.
And because he had done government work for the last 15 years, they had a reputation out there of executing. So they saw me, my price was $5,000 lower. Like, hey, I'm not going to take the risk with this kid. I'm going to go with the sure bet.
$5,000 more just to be safe with the guy that we already know that has past performance and a reputation.
Yeah. But now the tables are turned. We win the projects now, even though we aren't the lowest bid, right? Because we have the technically acceptable. We have the past performance now. So we will win projects that we're not the lowest bid. Right. And I always tell the team, we don't want to be the lowest bid. No. We don't want to be.
You don't want to be pricing out something to beat a competitor that you can't see what they're offering. I call that stressing me street. You trying to worry about how can I beat this competitor, but I won't be able to see they bid or till after it's closed in the tabulation report. So it's like focus on servicing the customer and not trying to beat competition. When you focus on the customer, then you focus on how can I provide them value? How can I provide them this service at a great price point that I'm happy with, that I'm okay with?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And most people are
Yeah.
pricing their proposal out to beat a competition that they can't see.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's huge right there. That's huge. That's huge. That's huge. Yeah, and honestly, we go after so many projects. Like this year alone, we will have bid over $1 billion worth of projects. So we don't get everything, and that's what I tell the team. Like we don't need to win everything, right? We just need to win the ones that are meant for us, that have the right profit margins, that have all of those things, so we can keep growing and scaling, right?
Facts.
So
Facts.
yeah, no, I'm and I'm a huge believer of that.
And that is a key thing, is keeping the pipelines going. The pipelines of opportunity, that's how you always keep the deals going. So we do a mixture of marketing, a mixture of bidding, a mixture of going to events and to with small business events and stuff like that, a mixture of getting ourselves in these certain contracting vehicles to set ourselves for opportunities, getting involved with FEMA disaster recovery team for international nature disasters or natural disasters that may go on, especially during the pandemic. We create a lot of opportunity from that too as well. So it's just about putting your business in the right position so you can take advantage of all the opportunities that government contracting has to offer. And my thing is, once you find your niche, that's how you get rich, because government contracting, you can get a contract for any type of thing. It's like, what is your niche? What is your competencies? What do you understand? What can you provide? What can you offer? And once you understand that, you just pretty much focus on the customer that supports it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, no, I couldn't agree more with that, because even when I first got into government contracting, I was a civil guy. I was a dirt guy. I was installing underground pipe, but I realized that the dollar value for the contracts that I was going after, yes, there were some of them that were civil, but there was more of them that were mechanical driven, right? That were HVAC driven.
Right.
And we moved into that business, and there was nobody there that could explain this stuff. So the government would go out and buy this stuff, and then they needed someone to be able to explain it. So at the time I had a mentor that was awesome at mechanical work. And like, he would talk up here, like with all of the craziness of the things, the technical terms.
Right.
And I would be like, explain that to me again. Explain that to me again. I'd ask him 10 times to explain it to me so that I could get it. And then I would explain it to these government people in the easiest layman's terms. And they were like, all right, sign the check.
Right.
And it was crazy. Yeah, that's totally. And that was our niche for 10 years. That's all we did was like mechanical work. And when you get the mechanical portion of the job, you're doing the drywall because you're putting the ceilings up afterward.
Right.
You're painting the walls. You're doing the floors. You're doing all of the other stuff. But the mechanical was the niche that we utilized to get our foot in the government space. And now we do all of it because we just understand the process so much that we do it all, and we do it all across the United States.
Have you done any international projects before?
We haven't. We have not done international. But I was looking at the Department of State. Have you done stuff international?
In the construction field, on the steel erection and fabrication in some U.S. embassies, doing steel erection and fabrication.
So that's the Department of State. The Department of State. With them.
You said the Department of State? No.
Yeah,
it was
the embassy work.
U.S. embassy. Well, directly with the Department of State, but sub-tier U.S. embassy. Certain one that was in I would mess up this country's name if I try to pronounce it. But I was in the middle of nowhere. That's what I feel like.
Yeah. So how did you guys supply the labor? Because that's one of the things I always am curious about. Like, how do you supply the labor on that? Do you hire people locally, or you bring your people over and you say, hey, we're going to stay here?
Team. Yeah. You get your contractors and, you pay the budget, make sure that they able to have the per diems and the costs and expenses, everything, and then ship them out there.
Yeah.
But most of the time for those projects, it was just the delivery of the steel. That's all. Just getting it from our supplier and then making sure that it gets shipped over there without any type of problems.
I like that, because then you're in and out. You're not like having to be over there for 9 months.
Right.
Everybody wants to fly back, and you see, it gets crazy quick.
So you do the takeoffs and everything from the blueprints in house, and then you send it off to the to your sub, and then making sure that they do everything correctly and just handle logistics and making sure that all the materials and stuff get sent out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So for a lot of the businesses that you work with, do you see them have troubles with bonding and like getting their bid bonds, and that's
Yes.
why you okay.
Yeah.
So you focus them in the beginning on like facilities type contracts so they can kind of get their feet wet, get used to how the government purchases and how they run things.
Right. Well, depending
Cool.
on the person's or the company, how it's structured, most contracts for products would never need a bid bond, performance bond, or payment bond. When it comes to service base, I get them to more focus, especially if they're a new business, to focus within federal contracts, because federal contracts has a little bit more better appreciation for new small businesses than state, city, county, because there's a lot more requirements of being in business 3 years, tax returns, references, past performance, bid bond, performance bond, stuff like that. So when it comes with federal, it's more or less requirements, and it's more receptive to getting a company like literally could start last month and then the next month can secure a six-figure government contract.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, no, that's huge. And one thing I love about the feds is like I travel, like we go everywhere throughout the United States because I don't need a license, right? Like I
Right.
can hire someone, I can hire a local plumber that has the
Right.
license, but the feds don't go off of the state licensure, right? They're the feds. They're the
Right.
highest level. So
Right.
they're not going off of the
They
state
make the
licensure.
rules. So their rule is it.
Yeah.
There isn't no rules.
Yeah. And we still will hire like the local electrician or the plumber that does have a state license because
Right.
at the end of the day we want the stuff to be done correctly because they're going to come back after you.
Right.
So but yeah, no, that's huge. So I totally get that and understand that. Got it. So how did you get the name Global?
That's just something I wanted to name my company. I always felt like that I always was the person to facilitate or connect the dots, be the one of facilitating opportunity. So it's like I'm a connect or a plug. And I said that I actually do it on a global level because I spend a lot of time in traveling across the world, Middle East, and brokering a lot of deals and handling a lot of things within logistics. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna name my company Global Connects because I do business globally and I'm connected.
Yeah, no, I love that because at the end of the day, like we all are thinking too small, right? And even by just saying global, it just gives you the opportunity to like one day, or I'm going to be doing deals globally. Like, yes, I'm right here right now,
Yeah.
but I know I'm going to be doing deals globally, and you can keep growing into the name.
Yes, that's the whole goal. So main thing in our government contracting realm, what we're doing is operating off of these three principles, and that's um, integrity, smart work, and honesty. Honesty, integrity, and smart work. Those are our three principles within our company, and that allows us to stay in business and keep business and never go out of business within government contracting. Because if you operate off of the honesty and you have integrity, meaning that you're going to do what's performed that's said in the contract when no one's looking, right? And you're gonna do it in compliance, and then we're gonna get all the work done with smart work. So honesty, integrity, and smart work.
What is smart work? What do you mean by that?
Smart work is a difference between hard work and smart work. I know a lot of hardworking people that don't make a lot of money, and I know a lot of smart working people that make a lot of money. When I mean smart work, meaning is how you're going to tackle something, a plan, how to use resources, leveraging. So simple as you get a big old construction $10 million project, you as a GC won't probably do 100% of all the work. You're going to collaborate. You're going to get subs, or you're going to do strategic partnerships. That's what I mean by working smart, meaning that I don't actually do the cleaning of the facilities. I think more, smarter and collaborate and hire a company that's been doing it for years to work up under me. And where I keep the overhead low and the profit margins high.
Yes, sir. And what I find is that you got to do this when smart people work hard, then that's when it all
Yeah,
really comes
there
together.
you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like the government space is the government space, and like there is a lot that goes to it, right? Like you're not. I mean, I've just never been one to submit one project and just get the government to take it. Like we got to submit 10 to get one, or sometimes 20 to get one, right?
But
Especially if you're in the competitive space.
that's true. But then also, I look at it as you have to be prepared as if you're going to get every contract you go after. So I don't look at it as more of a numbers game and takes 10 to get one. It's possibly if you submitted 10 bids, you can get awarded all 10. Now, do you have your logistics and T's crossed and I's dotted that you can execute all those contracts simultaneously if you get awarded on them? Because I look at it as if I go for a government contract, I can get awarded. So I need to have the ability, once I get an NTP, notice to proceed, and I'm able to mobilize. So I
Yes,
look at
sir.
every government contract that I go after as that we can win it. So
Yes,
we
sir.
go after 20 of
100%.
them. We got to act as if we got 20 of them, up under our
Yeah.
belt.
Yeah. And that's honestly why we built out our estimating team the way we built it out, right? Like we're not submitting any prices unless we have subcontractor coverage, right? Because if we do get them all, we need to be able to call on our partners to help us get all this stuff to the finish line, right?
Right.
So is that how you recommend your the people that you work with to go after projects as well, or are they self-performing a lot of this stuff?
What are you talking about for my company? How we go after the contracts?
Yeah, your company or your clients that you help get
So
government
when it
contracts.
comes to our company, where we go after contracts, it's a case by case scenario for when we budgeting numbers, but we always calculate up the cost as if we're going to deploy out or do the work in house. Normally that price is going to be way higher than what a subcontractor may charge, especially if it comes to traveling per diem and stuff like that. We work purely off those numbers. I don't need to talk to a sub or anything like that to get any type of quotes or anything from, because I already know that I'm going to be kind of extremely higher than the average subcontractor. So once we secure that contract based off of those numbers, then we go into pretty much negotiation with our sub to see what they're going to pretty much charge or what their quote going to be. But we know that they're going to be way cheaper than us because they're going to be locally there at the place of performance. So which means they won't have any travel in their budget. They won't have any type of lodging or rental equipment or anything, stuff like that. So all those things right there go straight to our bottom line. So we're more negotiating on a lump sum than breaking everything down in line items.
So how do you ensure that like you're not going to run into a situation where the sub is higher? You know what I mean? Like, what if the sub is higher? How do you ensure that you don't run into a scenario or
situation
process
that we do with subs? So one, if you're going to, it's always an evaluation for subcontractors because you got to look at it as you're hiring them. So I'm already going to have an idea of, like, not construction, but in my field, facility maintenance or say the janitorial company, there's plenty of people or plenty of companies that clean. It's not like a special skill set. Most of the time these contracts, they provide the janitorial supplies and the equipment. You're just really supplying the labor because everything is in the boiler room. So from that standpoint, I always have a list of potential companies that I may want to hire. And normally I'm targeting particular companies that I want to hire that don't have a cage code. One, meaning that I know that it can't backdoor me or go after the contract itself as a prime. And then I'm looking at companies that I know that are in the 30 to 40 mile radius of the place of performance. And then through my vetting process, I'm asking them through a questionnaire, can you wait 30, 45 days to get paid? Do you have general liability insurance, workers' comp? Because I'm gonna need to you need to add my company on to your insurance as a holder. What past projects you have done that's comparable to the work that I want to hire you for. So I'm just getting an understanding of that company through all those vetting because I don't care about your quote or your price. If you can't pass background check, then your price means nothing. So I'm more qualifying my subs, pre-screening them before and have an idea of who I'm going to reach out to before we go after it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, in the facility space, has it always been easy for you, or have you run into any challenges? What do those challenges look like in the
Challenges come
facility
just
space?
firing. I had a contract from hell one time where I had fired 3 subs on one job. So I had to fire one, hire another one, and hire another one. The thing about it is with the government is about having a plan. And one thing about it is that you don't want to come with a problem without a solution. So with me, I'm very transparent and straightforward, and I create a level of expectation with every sub. So if I have to physically leave from where I'm at in my home office to go to California to rectify some matters, I'm coming to fire. If I have to move from this place, because a great project manager doesn't have to move, don't have to go anywhere, right? So I had a situation where I had to fire subcontractors and rehire over and over again, and I pretty much was very transparent with the contracting officer, let them know that I don't stand behind this work that's not showing up on time or they're not doing things in compliance. So I made an executive decision to fire this subcontractor. Please give me at least 10 days to mobilize our new subcontractor that's getting ready to show up. And normally they honor it, and they waive the liquidated damages just because of the transparency and the willingness to present the problem and then have a solution. It shows
Yes,
competence
sir.
because everything doesn't always go
Yes,
as
sir.
planned, but you got to have a plan though.
100%, 100%. And they respect that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're 100% right. Even me as a person, right? I'm not expecting everything to go perfect, right?
Right.
But like, if it doesn't go perfect, we need to figure out a plan. We need to figure out a plan quick, and it needs to be a rock solid plan, and it needs to be executed on after we said what the plan is going to be.
Right.
So
Most definitely.
yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I appreciate your time today. How can people connect with you?
Yeah, they can look out to our website, theglobalconnects.com, or we have a community on a school called the Global GovCon Academy, where we have tons of training modules in there. And then also we do monthly one-on-one bid support, and you get access to use our software that finds the contracts for your business, all in one housing. So you learn business, learn government contracting. You're in like-minded or in the proximity of like-minded other people that's winning government contract that can support and help. And then also we have back-end support services to teams to help you bid on your contracts, making sure you cross your T's, dot your I's through bid assistance. And then also we have our Instagram, where you get a lot of content from Global Leader _ You all can follow us on Instagram.
Love it. Go out there and get contracts, baby.
Yes, sir. No choice.
Yes, sir.